we raised $1,000 to save babies. All right, so the beginning of this year, 2023, a lady on the YouTube channel named Born Again Bride said, you read a lot, maybe you should read more of the Bible. And I said, that's a good idea. So I've been reading a couple passages, chapters of the Bible every day. Last week I haven't done it. I need to get back, but it's been very illuminating. All right, it's a good walk of faith, because when you read the Bible, you can't, especially the Old Testament, you can't help but be challenged in your walk. You're like, really? But it's good. Questions are wonderful. That's why God gave you a brain to question. I don't get why people say, oh, it's in the Bible. I'm like, what? Have you actually read it? Anyways, it's very interesting. And questioning what the good book says does not make you anti-Christian, by the way. Why would God give you a brain if he didn't want you to use it? Makes no sense to me. Anyway, be as it may. So I try to get a little bit more right with my walk with God, and I wanted to dedicate the Sabbath, a Sunday. You can say it's a Sabbath, it's on Saturday, that's fine. But I want to dedicate the Sabbath to not doing videos, or if I did do videos, whatever income I made on those videos, I would give to charities. And I was very specific on the two charities I'd donate to. One was the Hill Country Pregnancy Center in Kendall County, Texas. We used to live in Bernie, Texas, right north of San Antonio. And Bernie, Texas is in Kendall County. And the other was the Options for Women, basically Camden County, New Jersey Pregnancy Center. When we lived in Haddonfield, we had donated some money to those guys as well. New Jersey, that is, South Jersey. And so I calculated all the videos I did in the Sabbath. I have a playlist called the Sabbath, and we made a little bit less than $1,000 in terms of the total amount of money I made on Sunday videos. A little bit less than $1,000. So I gave $500 to both charities. Now I do get to take a deduction off that. Well, because I got declared that as part of my income on my taxes, by the way, and I still itemize. I'm getting closer and closer to the times where I won't itemize anymore. But the facts are, I got self-employed expenses, mostly health insurance. That right there alone eats up my standard deduction. So, with the amount of money I donate, which isn't huge, one of the reasons it's not huge because I got debt. It's weird how debt keeps you from donating. It's very, very interesting. Be a good steward of God's money. Probably the best thing you can do is not have debt, because then you can be a better steward. If you have debt, the first bill is going to be paid towards your debt. It's just a fact. A very timely lesson for you starting out who say, I'm just going to borrow so I can. Dude, I'm telling you, man, I get it. I'm going to borrow so I can do this. I'm going to borrow so I can do that. And the minute you do that, you're getting further away from your stewardship of God's wealth. Remember, God doesn't need your money. It's all God's. God wants to know how good of a steward you are with his money. And the better of a steward you are, I assure you, God's going to look kindly on you and give you more and wish to be a better steward of his money. I can't guarantee you that. You can't sit there and say, start giving money and God's going to make you rich. I don't believe in the prosperity gospel. I think that's silly. But I do believe the stewardship you show on God's resources, if it's done through the goodness of your heart as opposed to selfish reasons, God will provide and make you have more in which to shepherd his wealth, if that makes sense. So going forward, I probably will continue to do videos on Sunday. It might not be every Sunday, because it's actually nice not doing a video on once in a while. But here's a Sunday. Today's my son's birthday. Just got done watching some basketball, some football, and playing some basketball, so I'm going for a walk. Nice day here in Georgia, whereas yesterday was cold. This morning was quite cold too. But anyway, so every Sunday, the videos I do will keep as a Sabbath, and I'll do as a playlist, and I'll round them up and donate them to charities. Again, pregnancy centers, because saving babies is a priority, man. Oh, but you're saving babies and putting them in a world of hurt, a destroying world, blah, blah, blah. So the option, of course, the alternative is to kill them. It's such a, I can't compute that. The baby's gonna be poor, they're gonna be abused, they're gonna be red hair, So that's not fair to them. So what's the alternative? We should kill them. Okay, that makes sense. Someone posted a meme the other day. I think it's Ben Carson, as a matter of fact. He said, if these aren't babies in the womb, why do so many people harvest their organs? Something like that. I said, man, good point, Dr. Ben. Dr. Ben crushes. Good point. Anyway, so the point being is, at the end of the day, a live baby is better than a dead baby. Abortion kills babies. It's just that simple. I don't believe in abortion. I don't think you should either. So we should want babies to be alive. I don't think that's shocking. I don't even think that's controversial. We can make an argument, what do we do with babies who are born in bad scenarios? You know what I'm saying? We can argue that all day long. We can say, should we do this? Should we do that? Well, let's at least first admit that we want the babies to be alive. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to dead. Because if they're dead, they can't do anything. They're dead. If they're alive, they can do great things, but they have to live, if that makes sense. Anyway, so I get it. A lot of people get offended by that. I don't care. I literally don't care about your offense of my desire to want babies to be born. Don't care. People say, well, how about this? Look, dude, that's an argument for a different time. We got to come to an agreement that babies should be born. Then we can figure out, what do we do with rapists? What do we do with incest babies? What do we do with this, that, and the other? But I think the first agreement should be babies should get born. Now, a lot of Republicans are going to shy away from this because this is the Republican Party, part and parcel. Any social controversy, they're like, oh, no. You know, most people are fiscally conservative and socially liberal, and the Republicans are just so stupid. It could not be further from the truth. And one of the reasons why Trump was getting out the base that doesn't vote is because his stance on immigration. A lot of blue-collar Republicans, they've been seeing their wages decline because of the unlimited immigration coming here and destroying their wage base. That's just a fact, dude. Just a fact. And the Republican Party as a whole says, no, that's a good thing for the economy, without caring two squats about the freaking people who are displaced by this. Now, the Republican Party was not so evil to say, well, learn the code, but they're kind of along those lines. Don't you know, man, this is a good thing. All these immigrants coming here, they're Catholic, they're conservative. They just need a better idea of how politics works, and they'll vote for us. That's insane. It's insane. Anyway, so we have all these laborers coming over here, and now white-collar people too, and they're discounting their labor costs because they come from places that the cost of living is quite low. And I don't blame those immigrants at all, not in the least. You know what? You'd do the same damn thing. That's what I would too. I'd say, if Americans be that stupid to open up their borders for cheaper labor and displace their own, I'm there, man. Especially if I have 3 hots on a cot, air conditioning, climate control, you know what I'm saying? I'm there. I got electricity. And all it takes is me to work freaking 8 hours a day, and I get breaks. You know what I'm saying? I get 3 weeks off on top of all the other paid vacations I get, compared to what my alternative was, which whatever it was. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't blame the immigrants in the least. I blame the American politicians who think this is a good thing for the United States. It's just not. The guy in the live stream said yesterday, we need more young workers. We've been hearing that for freaking decades, dude, decades. And we never have enough young workers, ever. This idiotic thing to say. And I showed you on the live stream last night, you know, the nurse shortage going back to 1959. So you open up the floodgates for nurses from Haiti, all these other countries, because there's a nurse shortage in the United States, literally from 1959, and probably before that too. And guess what? There's still a nurse shortage. I mean, it's just these guys have been lying to us about the immigration. We need these young people to come here because no one else is going to want to do it. Well, what's going to happen is at some point there will be a pretty significant recession, which is going to force the young people back in the workforce. And they're going to have to compete for jobs and they don't have the skill set. Compete for jobs for these motivated immigrants who do have the skill set and are willing to work for less cost. And the young people are going to be incredibly disaffected, and that's going to create some serious chaos, dude. Serious chaos. But the Republican Party will just sit back and say, learn to code, even though the coders are being replaced. Anyway, that's the That's the issue when it comes to social conservatism. Republicans always shy away, like, no, we gotta. But then Trump said, hey, we gotta do something about our borders. We gotta do something about the people we let in. And all of a sudden, magic out of nowhere, all these people who hadn't voted for years came out to vote for the first time. And Republican Party under Karl Rove and whatnot always says, we gotta get the mushy middle. 40% is left, 40% right, 20% is persuadable. And the issue that Karl Rove and the other idiots in the Republican Party don't realize is there's a significant, sizable base of Republicans who just have given up. So instead of going after them, they want to go after the mushy middle, the Michael Schmerkanishes of the world and stuff. It's idiotic, man. It's idiotic. So Trump comes along and says, no, I'm going after those people who, the forgotten man, as Amity Shlaes had written a book about, The Forgotten Man, a great book. Read that a long time ago, 6-7 years ago, something like that. It's wonderful because it talks about the forgotten man from the Great Depression until today. And, the Karl Roves of the world and stuff says, no, forget those guys. They're never going to vote for us. We just got to go after the mushy middle. That means we can't take any divisive social issues, where the Democrats always take divisive social issues. Late-term abortions, that's not divisive? Hell yeah. Anyway, the point being is, what the Republicans don't understand is the Democrats are good at this. They said, gay marriage didn't work. We passed the Defense of Marriage Act, DOMA, 1995. Well, the alphabet people are just sitting back, biding their time. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, now it's illegal. You'll go to jail if you don't recognize a gay marriage. If a gay says, hey, I want you to bake me a cake, and you don't bake a cake, you'll be going to jail. If I go up to a priest and say, I need you to marry me, and the priest says, I'm not marrying you, you're going to jail. Hell, the Pope's on board with this basically too. So they bide their time. Same thing with abortion. You bide your time. Yeah, you're going to lose some short-term stuff. But it's saving babies, the battle's in the long term, man. The long term, you're going to lose some. Unfortunately, there'll be millions of babies aborted in the interim. That sucks. Nothing you can do about it. But you make the case. You continue to make the case. Make the case. A baby is better alive than dead. That's just a fact. Argue otherwise. Argue it. I mean, I don't know how you sleep at night. Say, no. Dead baby's better than a live baby. I don't get it. Well, what if it's Hitler? How do you know Hitler was going to be Hitler until he did Hitler stuff? It's freaking so idiotic. So you make the case, you stand firm, and those, again, they're going to try to throw, like they probably will in the comments here. Well, what about? Hey, is a baby better alive or dead? He's better alive. Okay, let's start with that premise there. Hey, buddy. Hey, big guy. Let's start with that premise, then we can build backwards. However, if the premise is open to debate, a live baby or a dead baby, I'm not going to argue that because that's idiotic. That's evil. Owen Benjamin did a great skit, which I can't say here, about who has the most abortions, what group of people has the most abortions relative to population size. I think it might even be the most abortions anyway, even if you don't take relative to population size. Well, there's a certain group, a racial characteristic, who has the most abortions by far, relative to population size, and I think it might be outright actually. Hey, Owen Benjamin just made a comment about that in a joking way, but it's it's funny and it's so true. And all these people like bashing Owen Benjamin about his comment about that. It's like, man, you guys have lost the battle. It's wonderful to behold. And again, I'm not going to give you the comment. Just Owen Benjamin on abortion. Just look it up. I'm not sure you'll be able to find it on YouTube. Maybe on Twitter, because Owen Benjamin is allowed on Twitter, and I'm not on Twitter. But look it up. It's funny because it's like so rhetorically just brutal to the pro-abortionists. And it's that guy, man. That guy gets it. Because rhetoric is a big deal. You use the right rhetoric with a moral code, you can't be beat. Again, you're not going to win every battle, but you'll win the war, ultimately. Now, the war might not be won in our lifetimes, but look at what the gays went through, dude. It's insane to me you know, how bad it really was for gays, and now they're the ones holding the hammer. You know, they hold it like a sword of Damocles, or whatever that guy's name was, I think. Damocles, whatever the hell that is. Damocles. And they got over you. You step out of line, shoops, off with your head. You know, the Catholic Church, well, the Christian church was kind of like that for many generations too. And then people got sick of it. Same thing's going to happen here. People are going to get sick of it. They're going to say, no, we're going another direction. It always swings back and forth. All right. Anyway, so I appreciate y'all being here. God bless. I'll give you my predictions for 2024 next year, i.e. in about 12 hours. I'll let you know what I think. And I'd like to hear your comments on that too. So God bless. Save the babies. All right, we'll see you.